Hey, friends. Hope you are doing well. I am just so thrilled to have you all here as you're going to be joining on. And tonight we're going to have a really special treat with talking to someone that I've come to know over the last few months, and I've really appreciated not only her insight from a skincare, hair care, beauty standpoint, but also from just wanting to incorporate this as a very intentional business in terms of seeking after different ways that we can best connect with a community, hey, that honestly is not really being tapped into as well as it could be and as well as it should be. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Lydia Epic, and I am a senior star on the rise, and I hail from South Florida and currently live in Memphis, Tennessee. So when I started this as a series a few months ago, it was with the intention of just having these conversations with really unique leaders in terms of how they bring a very distinctive edge to their business. And so we started off with chatting with Tashina Gonzalez, who is Dayna's sister and is an amazing gatherer as well as innovator in terms of really being willing to take on those different ideas. And then we moved to Stacey Lloyd Wright, or Stacey Lloyd Vincent, sorry, mixing names. And Stacey did an incredible job of talking about how she incorporates storytelling into her business as she's growing on a social media platform. And then we talked to Samantha Lee Wright. If you're not familiar with her, she's amazing. She has the Essential Oils Revolution podcast, and she just goes about, again, doing a little bit of this even with her business and finding ways for people to connect as simply as possible. And so, as you can imagine, I am super, super excited to be able to bring in Dayna, and I think she is here so that we can start the conversation. Hey. And chat about how she has gone about coming from her unique background and incorporating that into her business in a way that it's just really on the rise and it's really developing beautifully. And if you haven't already, she does
Am I
have
there?
a YouTube channel. Hey, she has a YouTube channel. I also have a YouTube channel. And at some point, I mean, I'm just going to spoiler alert, we're going to talk about this book. I'm going to try to keep it to about 2 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. um, but I am so thrilled that you are here. Great to see you, my dear. So it looks like you're right in the midst of mom life, I take it.
Of course. Yep. So this is where it's going to be the quietest.
I totally get that. Yeah, so we've got so let's see, how old are your kiddos?
So my daughter is 9, and then my son, he's 5.
Okay, got it. All right. So here we've got 4.5 and then almost 2. So I totally get it. We're just
Yeah.
gonna move all of it there. There you go. All right. So yes, I am so again thrilled and honored that you are here and that we have this chance to really give voice to and speak of in a I feel like even in a candid manner about what's happening in this particular industry of beauty, how you came about connecting with Young Living, because I take it you were an esthetician before Young Living was even in the picture, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And so how you have, again, that unique perspective that you're now bringing into your business and honestly bringing to Young Living at large, which is super awesome. So we're going to jump right on in with questions because I know time is of the essence. So starting off, how did you start with Young Living and how did you get involved, I guess, more so on the business side? So how did you end up in the business side of things?
Okay. So I was forced to do all of it. So, so
Oh, big
ser
sister.
so seriously. So,
Mhm,
some of the amazing people that you've already interviewed. So Tashina
mhm,
Gonzalez, being my
mhm,
older sister, um,
mhm.
I was originally introduced to Young Living essential oils through her.
Okay.
But the the interesting thing about that is I actually was already using essential oils and I already was on a
Oh,
non-toxic journey, right?
okay.
So it's interesting with her being my older sister, she already saw this vision for me that I didn't see yet. Like I was like,
Got
yeah,
it.
no. Like, so the first time she invited me to her party, I was at the time working at a spa.
Okay.
And I thought that she had joined some type of cult. And I already knew about oils, so there was really
Mm-hmm.
nothing that I needed to go there to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually came super, super late to her class. They had already done their presentation. They probably already
Yeah.
passed oils, all of those wonderful things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but because I'm very skeptical, what I did is I collected all of the little pamphlets. I collected all of the little booklets because I
Mm-hmm.
had to save her out of this cult and show her that these people are crazy and there's no reason that lavender should be that expensive because I get it at the store for way cheaper. So,
Exactly.
so, but there were, because I am very logical, I have a very logical
Mm-hmm.
brain. So
Mm-hmm.
there were some things with my oils that I was like, wait a minute. So like one of them being
Mm-hmm.
that some of the oils I was using had organic and non-organic. So I'm like, okay, so it's okay to give me bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like what type of company does that, right?
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
and then the other big thing that was a red flag for me was the oils that should have been ingestible, but it said for
Yes.
external use only. So I'm
Yes.
like, this is super weird. So let me
Exactly.
investigate. So
Mm-hmm.
I did. So I
Okay.
researched Young Living. I researched oils. I researched. I was one of
Mm-hmm.
those weird people that called the companies that I was using, like, hey, I need to see your farms and I need to see where you get your oils from.
Ah, nice.
Um, and so that's really how I kind of started. I slowly
Mm-hmm.
started incorporating oils here and there, replacing what I already had. At the
Mm-hmm.
time, I also had my son who was quite sickly.
Mm-hmm.
And remember again, we already are on this toxic free journey. So I'm making my own laundry detergent. We only clean with vinegar and lemons. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
so
Mm-hmm.
so I had did some of those big things, but then now
Mm-hmm.
incorporating these oils, I'm seeing amazing transformations with my son. And
Ah,
at that point, I'm like, wow, okay, wow.
yeah.
So I really, in the beginning, kind of just organically shared my story. Um,
Okay.
and then now to get back to how I started the business. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so again, she tricked me. so,
Which means she knew
so
exactly how to do it because not everybody can trick. Because I think we talked about we're both INTJs. Yeah, you gotta know some buttons to make that happen. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, I'm a licensed esthetician. So
Mhm.
knowing that, she was like, "Hey, let's have a spa party. You can do some facials. Let's have your friends over." And I was like, "Awesome, that sounds great. I do that type of stuff all the time." So we
Mhm.
rented out my clubhouse. We had a spa party. I'm doing facials. I'm doing my thing downstairs, thinking everything's great. And
Yeah.
finally, I'm kind of at the end of the facials, and I'm like, "Okay, so the spa party must be over. It's time to go home." But of course, Tashina had other motives. So I come upstairs and it's like, so Dana, tell us how you got started with using Young Living oils. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, what is happening right now? So essentially, I of course told my story.
Yeah.
We're passing oils,
Mhm.
and that night, two people were ready to get started. So
Wow.
again, um, I kind of, I don't want to say I fell into it, but I have a very intelligent sister that knew for me that
Mhm.
she wouldn't be able to convince me to have a party. She wouldn't be able to convince me to, even get the kit, to be
Mm.
honest. Like I had to
Yeah.
kind of come and stumble across this stuff on my own.
Understood. Understood. Okay. And so as a result, here you are now in the business. And so what is and this is something you do with your husband, which is really cool. So it's not just you're doing it on your own, but then the two of you, of course, you have your different weekly talks on YouTube that you do together, which is awesome. And so what's the driving why for you guys in terms of doing this as a business?
So really for me, my biggest why would have to
Hmm.
be as far as I have really never fit the mold of a traditional job.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
and as a result, I have worked many, 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 many jobs. And I just
Hmm.
want some level of stability for my kids and my family, where it's not mommy running to do this to have a little hustle and be over here to
Hmm.
have a little hustle,
Yeah.
just to make ends meet. I always
Hmm.
kind of joke with people because I'm like, they're like, "What do you do for a living?" I'm like, "Whatever's necessary. I'm a legal hustler." like, like I
Yes.
will whatever I need to do. You know what I mean for my babies to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the fact that one, I absolutely love the oils. I'm already into
Hmm.
natural things. All I do is tell
Yeah.
my story over and over again. It just
Hmm.
made sense. It was like, oh wait, these are like steady checks coming in. Like, so this is probably I should go ahead and do that, right?
Very cool. Very cool. Totally makes sense. Okay. And so with that, because you started basically with your first accidental party being spa themed, was that where the thought process, or was that where the incorporating skincare and hair care started? Or was there some time between that and then there was the aha moment of, wait, we're looking at an industry, as you quoted, and we've talked about environmental working group, as well as countless others are saying, you're looking at a vast majority of products that honestly catered towards women of color, African American women, are laden with toxic chemicals and ingredients and just bleh. And so much
Yeah.
of it, unfortunately, has been so incorporated into what's expected for us to use that doing something different is, it's not that it's not doable, but it's just kind of a, oh yeah, I see, crunchy gal doing it, but I can't
Yeah.
really see myself doing it. So I guess so going back to the original question, so was it an immediate walk into connecting the beauty industry to your business, or was it something that kind of evolved and grew over time?
So I think it's actually a combination of both, to be completely honest.
Okay.
But I will say this about me and how I
Hmm.
approach aesthetics. I
Hmm.
always was on the side of education. So
Okay.
the first the very first spa that I worked in, I was like the head esthetician. So I trained all the new estheticians that came in. And
Okay.
what we would do is, it was all my suggestion to the owner. I was like, hey, look,
Hmm.
because we were a massage driven spa. So it was
Okay.
like for every, let's say, 10 massage therapists, there might be one esthetician, right? And
Okay.
I was finding that I was a lot of people's first facials. They're like, "Oh, that's a luxury thing. We don't get facials. I don't know anything about a facial."
Hmm.
And so what I told my owner, I said, "We need to educate people on the importance of skin, and we need to educate
Hmm.
them on the benefits of facials." And
Hmm.
my background before I became an esthetician, I really was actually going to school to be a physical therapist,
Okay.
pretty far
Cool.
away. But I always was intrigued with anatomy, and I was
Hmm.
intrigued with body function and how
Hmm.
things all connect together.
Very
So
cool.
when I started doing these classes at the spa, that's what it
Hmm.
became. We started talking about all of the things. So we talked about water, we talked about exercise, we talked about hormones, we talked about anything that affected skin.
Wow.
So
That's
with
awesome.
Young Living, it's like it just made sense, right? It was like,
Exactly. Exactly.
um, and I will say too, I worked at some
Hmm.
pretty high end spas, and
Hmm.
even with some of the high end like moisturizers and serums and stuff, I
Hmm.
was still a label reader. So I would turn this stuff over and I'd be
Hmm.
like, "Oh my goodness, honey, you can go home and make this. Let me tell you." And I did this. Like I hurt myself financially so bad at some of these spas because I would write on pieces of paper. I'd be like, "Hey, look, take this oil, mix some
Hmm.
brown sugar, do this." You know what I mean? And I promise you it'll be better for your skin than that $300 bottle over there. Like,
Wow.
so, so it
Yeah.
just made sense. It really
Okay.
did just make sense incorporating it.
Okay. Very, very cool. And so now with where you are, um, I guess that's the part to me that's really, really interesting is not so much um the fact that you have that background, which is still very cool, and have that understanding, but the fact that you're looking at this, I mean, for lack of a better visualization, you're basically looking at this giant that's starting to kind of crumble because we're starting to see, this huge industry. It's what, a $2 billion industry. We're starting to see where people are opening their eyes to the things that they're putting on their skin. We're still working, of course, on the things that they're consuming and the things that they're breathing in. I feel like that's in some ways people aren't necessarily connecting all the dots. And so, of course, it's part of what we do, especially as business builders with Young Living. But it's the fact that you're taking this message and taking this idea and presenting it in a way that helps people to connect. So I was going to chat with you about the fact that you have a YouTube channel. So have you always had a YouTube channel from the very beginning, or was it something that, again, evolved over time to into your business?
That evolved over time.
Okay.
Um, the YouTube really kind of started from um I knew like so I did a lot of personal growth and a lot of self-development.
Yeah.
To be honest, like network marketing had been in my life probably since I was maybe 16, because my family did other network marketing businesses and things like that. And
Mhm.
honestly, I actually always loved the model of network marketing. I
Very
absolutely
cool.
thought it was an amazing system. I'm like, oh my goodness, like this, I think it's the best thing if you're going to do a business.
Cool.
My problem always was I wasn't passionate about the products. So
Yes,
while
exactly.
I could see people being successful, I never saw me being successful because
Hmm.
I can't sell things to people.
Yes.
So I could never see that connection.
Hmm.
So for me, when I first started, I said, well, social media is where it's at, right? Like
Hmm. Yes, of course.
people are social. I need to learn social media.
Hmm.
When I first
Hmm.
started, to be completely honest, and it's funny, I'll see my memories. Like, I probably never posted any picture of me anywhere. Like, it would only be little
Hmm.
things I might say here and there.
Hmm.
But I knew if I was going to learn social media, I needed to,
Hmm.
um, I need to do lives. I need to get out there
Hmm.
and get out on my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I needed my husband next to me, like because I
Aw.
wasn't gonna hit the live button on my own. I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna do it on my own. I was
Hmm.
just too terrified, to be completely
Hmm.
honest. And
Gotcha.
so in the beginning, it was nice because my husband could be my crutch. So,
Hmm.
and it's funny because he knows my personality so well. So when we first started, me, I'm like, I have these facts and I need to share this with people. So I would just
Hmm.
read whatever. Like, and he's
Yeah.
like, okay, we got to make this funny and we got to break it up because nobody's going to watch you reading like that. Nobody's going to watch you.
I
And
would.
so so in the beginning, it really became a matter of he was
Hmm.
helping me get out of the comfort zone, and then it was like, oh, people
Hmm.
kind of like this. This is kind of cool. And so
Very
then
fun.
DNA Wellness started, and the YouTube started, and we kind of rolled
Very
from there.
Very cool, very cool. And even in that, because I just love being able to be connected to the channel, see, of course, the different business talks that you guys are doing weekly. And then you also have, are you doing the skincare ones every week as well? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't do them weekly, but so
Hmm.
what we did is like, so if you go to our channel, we have different playlists.
Hmm.
Because I do feel like there's so many facets to us.
Yes,
And
understood.
so some people want to come to the page and they just want to learn about skincare and the makeup and some of those things. So
Got
there's a specific playlist that just talks about those things.
it. Okay.
And then also we wanted to do things for our team. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
specific section that is all like team calls and stuff for our team. If I'm running promotions, if I'm running special
Mm-hmm.
things on there, it'll all go into those specific playlists. And then
Okay.
our health talk with the Motts that has its own specific thing. That way, it's easy if you have a certain subject you want to look up or find.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of navigate it like that.
Very cool. Very cool. And so, yeah, and it's the fact that, like you said, with our businesses, we have the ability to make it multidimensional. And it's, as you found with your own family, finding those places that you're just naturally passionate and that you are naturally curious about so that you can then bring people into that conversation or bring them into that sphere with you. So it's
Mhm.
cool. I love that. And in that process of, the growth that you've been in now, I guess what are some of the I guess kind of lessons learned that you would share with others as they're developing that social media presence? Because I know for the longest time I would hear people say, oh yeah, YouTube, you want to grow on Facebook, you definitely want to grow on Instagram, YouTube, and I'm thinking, if I'm going to do anything in terms of, so my thing is cooking, right? So people are more likely to look for videos on hair care, for skincare, and in some cases, even cooking stuff. They'll look for that on YouTube and just binge watch that versus going through Facebook and trying to scan all the different things. So since you have been using YouTube, are there different kind of lessons learned you've had along the way that would be helpful to share with others if that's something that they're considering too?
Absolutely. I think to a
Mm-hmm.
certain extent, I would definitely say learn your personality.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people are better like blogging and their words are, more
Mm-hmm.
intriguing. Some people visually, like, okay, so even right now, I'm talking with my
Mm-hmm.
hands, like I'm animated and I move around because I don't know how to stay still.
Yeah, yeah.
So you kind of have to know your personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like navigate it that way. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's
Sure.
important to be on multiple platforms, but I don't believe that you can actually master all at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I feel
Mm-hmm.
like some people are more Instagram people, and some
Yeah.
people are more Facebook people, and some people are more
Mm-hmm.
YouTube people. I think it's important again to have them all, but then it's like
Mm-hmm.
one, you're like, this is my baby, and I'm gonna really, really hone
Mm.
in on it.
Cool.
I One person that I really, really got some amazing, amazing social media information about was Gary Vee. I will say be
Mm.
careful with some of his content because he cusses, but a
Okay.
lot of like his just straight social media stuff that he
Mm-hmm.
talks about is absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? Because he
Fantastic.
really helps you break down strategically how
Mm-hmm.
to grow on all platforms and what trends to
Mm.
look for and things like that.
Cool. Awesome. And at this point, do you have, I guess, is it fair to say that you have some things in work because clearly there's a book?
Yeah. Um, I honestly, my brain is like, I just have a creative like all over the place. Sometimes my husband has to reel some of those things in, like, baby, you can't do
Yep.
everything, right? Like,
Yep.
slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so right now, my biggest thing it with
Mm-hmm.
like especially the book,
Mm-hmm.
is because that was just such a huge void, that I needed to fill for
Mm-hmm.
my daughter and myself. Um, I wanted to share that with other people.
Sure.
And so really that is my biggest baby right now as far as making videos to kind of promote that exactly
Mm-hmm.
specifically what I do because I think the book helps to get you started, but sometimes you still need to visually be able to
Mm-hmm.
see some of those things.
Very cool. Very cool. And have you found, I guess, has this been a way for your business to move um, to a place of helping people to incorporate that toxin-free lifestyle? Because, for example, um, there are so many who just want to have the quick fix. That tends to be what I feel like we see a lot of is I just want the quick fix. I do, what's the oil that I can use to help me clear up eczema? And it's just, well, let's start with what you're eating and the fact that you're not drinking enough water, and then we'll talk about the oils. Has it do you feel like this has helped in having that conversation in a little bit more of an expanded form, or is it still kind of fresh, so you're figuring it out, or
I definitely think it's an amazing tool to help start the conversation.
cool?
Because sometimes I do feel like especially for a person that might not already be somewhat health conscious,
Mm-hmm.
hair is a simple place where they do have hair and they do
Yeah.
care about that. And so I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like some people you need to kind of slowly feed some of these things, and then connect it. So I have found
Mm-hmm.
that for me, it's been
Mm-hmm.
a huge connection piece. Um, really,
Cool.
really helping people to see it from all aspects, because I do feel like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't realize how powerful the things we put on our skin is. Like
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, we think about what we eat, we think about, what we breathe sometimes, but we do not think about what's going in our skin or in our hair.
True, true. And it's so, so critical. That's so good. Awesome. All right. So to finish it off, because I'm not sure if anyone had any questions. If you have any questions, I think we should be able to take, yeah, we can take one or two questions if anyone has any. But I was going to say, I'd love to hear what your word of encouragement would be if there was someone who was considering the business or was just getting started, but wasn't sure if they're ready to be an active sharer. They're not sure if they're ready to do this as a business. They're kind of on the fence. And if there'd be a word of advice that you would give them, or yeah, just what would you say to them?
I would say be organic, be natural, be you, and do it.
Mm,
Because I really feel like in all avenues and aspects, it's only going to enhance whatever you're doing. Even if,
yeah,
let's say, you're like, I love the oils, but I don't know that I'm super passionate about it. I don't have a captivating story as to how
mm-hmm.
they've just transformed my life and this and the other.
Yes.
Maybe not, but you don't know how you might be used to have a captivating story for
Mm,
someone else, right? Like, I
mm,
personally feel like when you have something good in your life, it's selfish of you not to share that with other people. Like, if
true.
I have a recipe, food that I love and it's good,
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody to know about it, like, because you
Yes.
might like it too. You know what I mean? So I do feel
Exactly.
like a lot of my drive was I want to help people. I want to
Mm-hmm.
feel these problems and these voids, even when certain people don't realize they have the problems and voids.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's my obligation to do so. And even if you just start slow, like, we're not saying like go out
Mm-hmm.
there and just like talk to Joe Blow on the streets, but like
Yeah.
come like come on now,
Yeah.
your family, your friends, like, and you go to
Mm-hmm.
you where do you grocery shop? Like, you're around people all the time, and there's people
Mm-hmm.
like the two biggest problems in life are health and finances, right? And you
Yeah.
can honestly bless somebody with both. So why not
True.
do that?
So good, so good. And it's so true. And it really is being willing, like you said, to move ourselves out of the way and to not be selfish because we started on this journey for a reason. And heck, if you've got a little one and they're not sleeping and I've got a solution and I don't share it with you, that's kind of not cool.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, all right. So let's see. I'm looking at a couple of points. So, let me start. So for you, Rod, this conversation is something that, goodness gracious, yeah, we started this about 4 months ago, and so every month we come on and we do a chat with a different business innovator, a business leader in Young Living, and we just chat about their specific kind of area, their team culture, just really gleaning ideas off of one another. So yeah, so if you tune in once a month, I always make sure to announce it on the events page. Then that's a way for you to connect and invite others to join. Yeah. And then let's see. So Lysandra, haha, I knew it was gonna happen. So what oils are good for hair? I'm natural and I have sister locks. Oh girl. That's
So
a whole class. Yeah, go for
so
it.
now the only yeah, now the only thing I will say with sister locks are you have to be careful. Ooh, we got babies. You got to be careful of some oils though, because especially
Mm,
in the scalp, that's one thing that I do talk a lot about is you actually don't want to get too much oils in your scalp, because
okay.
what happens over time is your your scalp is not going to produce its own natural oils. And a lot of times, if
Mm.
you don't have a healthy scalp, because remember, your scalp is just a extension of your
Mhm.
skin, right?
Yes.
So it's
Mhm.
just your skin right here is just up here too.
Yeah.
And so the one thing I will say is be mindful and careful of like fatty oils that you don't want those in your
Mm.
scalp. Essential
Okay.
oils are a little bit different.
Okay.
So if you want to stimulate like hair growth, some
Mhm.
things that are amazing are like rosemary, cypress,
Mhm.
lavender. Again, because those are stimulating. Those aren't going to block pores. Those aren't going
Yeah.
to affect your hair in that way.
Okay.
Um, so yeah.
Very cool. And so even with that, to just kind of piggyback on it with, so for example, rosemary can be a little bit on the hot side, not really. Is it something where you would use jojoba oil instead, or you would use, or you just would try to avoid using any kind of carrier oil when you're applying it to the scalp?
For scalp, I mean jojoba is a nice one because it's lighter.
Yeah.
But I would still be careful with it. So what I
Hmm.
might do with some of those oils is that's why I would incorporate it when I do like a rinse, like a apple cider vinegar rinse, something like
Yes.
that. Because again, that's getting on my scalp, but it's not going to add the unnecessary oils to it.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. So good. Which means at some point, I'm sure if it hasn't already been scheduled, there will be a class that goes all through this book. I mean, not all through it, but we'll talk about some of the different concepts that are in this book and why it's so key to have this as a tool. You guys, this is an incredible tool. And if you've not yet checked it out, you should definitely do that. It is available on Amazon and is now available on Life Science Publishing, which is super, super exciting. So you definitely want to check it out there. And like I said, I just love that we are now in a place where we're beginning to have that conversation to walk into an industry that honestly needs to have quality oils presented. People know about oils, they know about essential oils, but having the level of, like you said, clean, organic, and actually function the way that they should be functioning oils, essential oils available, really makes all the difference. So thank you
Yes,
so
yes.
much. So, so
Thank
good.
you.
Awesome.
I'm so excited you had me. I really, really appreciate this and the opportunity.
Yeah, my pleasure. Absolutely love it. All right, so we're going to sign off here, you guys. If you have any additional questions for Dayna, you can find her. Where are you on Facebook? Where are you on Instagram? Where are you on YouTube? We'll put links, but yeah, where are you, darling?
Okay, so on Facebook, it's Dayna and then the letter N, Anthony
Hmm.
Mott. And
Okay,
then on Instagram, I'm Young Lady Day 1224.
cool. Got it.
Yep.
All right, awesome. And that's right. So, total side note question. So, is your birthday December 24th?
It is not. So actually, that's my daughter's birthday. It's my daughter's. No, yes.
Oh, that's
Yes,
so
she's
fun.
my
I'm December 26th. That's the only reason why I asked.
Oh, okay. Funny. Funny, funny,
So
funny.
fun. Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, thank you once again so much for tuning in. And I'm so glad that you took out time to be a part of this conversation with us. As we mentioned earlier, Oily Excellence does have a page on YouTube. And of course, we're on Facebook. We are also on Instagram. So if you want to check us out, it's Oily Excellence Team. Oily Excellence Team. So have a great night, everyone. Can't wait to see you
Bye,
all if you're going to
everybody.
the convention. And we'll see you later. Bye.